Hey, how's it going, everybody? I'm Shadow Stitch, and I like solo running Pokemon Black and White. So, earlier on in the week, we did play the game with Mandibuzz, and it did not do well, I'll be honest with you. This is a very rare moment for me, but I did not actually really enjoy playing that Pokemon. Usually I don't mind struggling a little bit, but just, I don't know, Mandibuzz really rubbed me the wrong way. But as we bring in the tier list, you see it claimed that absolute bottom spot on the tier list for now. 2 hours and 9 minutes is not fantastic, and you were outpaced by Amoonguss of all things, so yeah. We're still catching up, since we did change emulators and settings and all that fun stuff. I have to completely re-rank my entire catalog so far, so not all the Pokemon on here that we've done in the past are on here yet, but there is still a playlist linked down below at the end of the video and on that little iCard that popped up, so if you see anything that piques your interest here, go check that out. There's plenty of other runs as well. But stick around, because today, of course, is the 4th of July, so good old Murica Bird has to come out, and we get to have some fun with him today. So, Braviary is an awesome Pokemon. I love this guy. I have a ton of respect for him. I freaking won a draft league because of him back when I played Draft League a lot. In Generation 8, so that's just awesome. I love this guy, and he has a lot to love too. 123 attack is absolutely fantastic. Pretty solid 100 HP with 75 in both defenses, gives it pretty decent bulk, and 80 base speed is very respectable. However, it doesn't just stop there, because we have the normal type. Normal types are very powerful in this region. Getting stab return relatively early, just very little actually resists it, so that's pretty awesome. The flying type will kind of hold us back a little bit. The late game is not exactly the best friend to rock weak Pokemon, but overall it shouldn't be that bad. We're choosing to go with the ability Sheer Force this time around. This is going to give a 1.3 times boost to moves that have secondary effects, but that will also remove that secondary effect. So think of Rock Smash that we see over there on the TM move pool. It will get that 1.3 times power boost, but then you will never be able to drop defense with it. So I think it's a pretty fair trade-off. Looking at the level up move pool first here real quick though, it does have quite a few good things going for it. We have some good strong flying type moves like Brave Bird very late, and early on we got Wing Attack and Aerial Ace, so that's cool. A couple normal type moves, but more importantly we have a good strong setup move in Hone Claws. This boosts attack and accuracy, and that's pretty awesome. So, looking at the TMs, we did talk about Rock Smash, but also we got things like Rock Slide, Rock Tomb, Shadow Claw, giving us pretty good coverage, and of course, that good strong stab return is going to come in clutch for sure. Overall, this is looking very solid, but we do level up and evolve, so let's go ahead and take a quick look at Rufflet. So Rufflet isn't as prolific as like Volibee is in the Little Cup arena, but yeah, I think it's still a very solid Pokemon. We have pretty decent speed for a first stage at 60 and solid attack at 83. Doesn't really have a ton of good bulk, but overall it's going to be hitting pretty hard with its flying type moves, and I think that it's going to do a lot better than Volibee did, because it is more offensively focused, and stab return, even with a base form Pokemon like this, is still no joke, so that's pretty sweet. So overall though, we do start with Peck, Leer, and Fury Attack, which we will quickly upgrade into Wing Attack at level 10, and then picking up Hone Claws at 14 is solid, and then we kind of just go from there until we evolve at level 54. So this is looking like a really fun run. I don't know how much Rufflet is really going to hold Braviary back, but it should be a lot more better than hopefully Volibee and Mandibuzz were last week. Anyway though, you see the rules on screen. There's some other niche stuff down below. We have made some slight tweaks to the rules somewhat recently, so feel free to check that out if you want. But for now, let's go ahead, hop into it, and see how the Braviary line does. As usual, we preload our starter into the run before it even begins. This allows us to change our nature, IVs, you know, all that fun stuff, and get them set before things even start. So we're going to be taking Tepig. This is going to give Bianca the Snivy line, so we have an advantage over her, and Sharon the Oshawott line, so we don't really have a disadvantage over him, but it honestly doesn't really matter which starters we chose to go up against, because Rufflet is just pretty dang good. So we went with the Jolly nature this time around. This is going to be a 10% boost to our speed, but at the cost of lowering our special attack, which is perfectly fine. We are not really going to be using our special attack pretty much at all in this run, so might as well. We are in the slow level up group once again. Of course, that's not fantastic, but I don't think it's going to be as much of a hindrance as it was with Vullaby, because Rufflet just better suited for this kind of formats. You know, a very more physically offensively focused build is still going to be able to take at least probably one hit and do a decent amount of damage back, if not just knock things out a lot faster and a lot more consistently than we were doing with Vullaby. So overall, though, I'm really looking forward to playing this one. I don't think we're going to have nearly as many problems as we did last time, but you never know with a Pokemon that still evolves this late. So we're going to make our way through the rest of the early game here. N is not going to be any problem. We're going to do a bunch of training on Route 2, take care of Bianca, and we could just do that and head into Striaton City. As soon as we enter into Striaton, we're going to grab that Dusk Ball in the back alley and head into the Dream Yard to do a little bit of extra training. Along the way, we get to level 10, and that is going to give us Wing Attack. Wing Attack is fantastic, as it has a ton of PP, so that's pretty cool. After grabbing our monkey, we can head to the school, take care of Sharon. No problems there whatsoever. Neither are the gym trainers going to cause us any issue, so we can go ahead and take on our first gym leader. Once again, we're up against Kress. He's going to lead off with that Lillipup. We're going to go for a Wing Attack and get a nice easy 2-shot right there. Pamport's gonna come out. We're gonna soften it up a little bit with a Leer, and then 2 Wing Attacks is easily going to knock that out, and we can move on out of here. Get contracted by Fennel for a little bit of science work, use our 1 mandatory use HM of Cut, and beat up a couple dudes inside the Dream Yard. Then we can head on out of here to go towards Route 3. Once again, we stop by the preschool to do a little bit of extra training. This is gives pretty decent experience, and we get to level 14 where we can learn Home Claws. Like I said before, this is a fantastic setup move. Allows us to boost our attack, which is already pretty solid, and our accuracy, so we don't have to worry so much about like sand attack and stuff. So we grab an Ultra Ball out of the sandbox, clear out the last trainer right here, heal up at the house, take care of the very easy double battle, clear out Sharon, he's no problem, and then we can head into Wellspring Cave. After chasing off the Plasma guys and catching our HM friend Woobat for Fly, we can head back to Route 3, clear out a bunch of trainers here, especially our new trainer that we've been running into a little bit more consistently, Adelaide, since she has 3 pretty decent Pokemon for experience, so that's pretty nice. And then we can grab the glitched rare candy in the grass over here and head into Nacrene City. As soon as we enter into Nacrene, Sharon's going to hook us up with those Chesto berries once again, and we can head into Pinwheel Forest. So grab the TM for Rock Smash. That's going to be very useful for us for a little bit of coverage, and then battle the Nurse Trainer, get a nice free heal right there. So we're going to, of course, pick up a Temple. This is going to be our HM friend for Surf, but also we do get lucky again and get a Persim Berry. So these guys do have a 50% chance of holding a Persim Berry. I am still kind of on the fence if I want to, mod the game ever so slightly to make this 100%. Pretty much the goal of that would be to, make sure that Pokemon just aren't ruined by bad luck, so Yeah, still let me know down in the comments what you think about that. We're going to clear out a couple of the trainers in here for some pretty solid experience and pick up the ether deeper on in the forest. After that, we deposit our team, go take care of N. He's no problem. Neither are any of the gym trainers, and then we can face off with Lenora. Lenora is pretty standard par for the course for what we'd expect for right now, and she does have Intimidate. That definitely sucks for us. Does dodge a takedown, which is pretty cool, and then we can rock smash our way through without taking a hit. Unfortunately, though, we get put to sleep. We didn't have a Chesto Berry. I was fully expecting to take a lot more damage on the Herdier, so we just had an Oran Berry, which means that we do take our first blackout. So this is pretty standard, though. Blackout training on Lenora is, something that happens quite a bit, but we're just gonna skip right ahead to when we win. And yeah, only after about 3 blackouts, we can just go ahead and Hone Claws, Rock Smash, get a nice critical hit on to the Herdier, so we're in pretty much the same position. Rock Smash, we barely live the boosted Retaliate on 2 HP, which is clutch. And there we go. We got our second gym badge right here. So Rock Smash was coming in clutch there for some strong, super effective damage boosted by that Sheer Force. So that's pretty nice that we were able to grab that for this gym. So we're going to watch the Plasma Dude steal a skull for some reason and then chase them into Pinwheel Forest. Nothing really interesting happens in Pinwheel. We just clear out all the Plasma Dudes, battle the extra Herdier Ranger right here, just for some good experience. The Bridge Trainers on our way out are pretty solid experience as well, and we do pick up Aerial Ace at level 23. It's not really going to be super, necessary, but it gives us a little bit more PP, and it's definitely better than Fury Attack, so that's pretty cool. So we're going to cross that beautiful Sky Arrow Bridge and head into Castelia City. As soon as we enter into Castelia, we are going to go up the first street and then the first skyscraper on the left, where we're not going to be grabbing rest, but we are going to be getting the massage. This is going to boost our happiness, and with a Pokemon that's going to be heavily relying on return very soon, that is not bad at all, because we had to go up here to grab the Eviolite anyway. This is once again going to be a fantastic held item for us, boosting our defenses by 50% as long as we stay unevolved, and with a Pokemon that evolves at level 54, that's going to be quite a while. So we're going to stop by the gym, start the little plasma chase sequence, and then we're going to make another pit stop into the battle company. Once again, pretty solid experience. Of course, Berg probably not going to be any issues, but we do have Elisa coming up very soon, and I'm pretty worried about that. So after beating up the Plasma Dudes on the side streets, we can head into the gym and take on Berg. Yeah, Berg's not really going to be any issues. We can just go for a Hone Claws, boost our attack. We do get hit by a Screech, which is a little bit annoying, but that's okay. Dwebble does do a lot of damage to us with a Smackdown, and one Aerial Ace is not knocking him out, but we eventually break through anyway, and then Levani drops to a single 4 times effective Aerial Ace, so that's pretty cool. 3 gym badges down, we can head on out to Route 4. Bianca, no issues whatsoever in the gatehouse, and we can do a little bit of extra training on the Fishermen, so they give fantastic experience and good speed EVs as well. Heal up at the house, take care of Sharon, he's no problem, but we do pick up Slash at level 28 during his battle, so that's pretty nice. Gives us a good, strong, normal type move for now. And then I kind of accidentally, tunnel vision into going to Nimbasa City. I should be going out to the Desert Resort right now, but that's okay. So let's go ahead, head into Nimbasa and see what we got cooking up there. After chasing off the Plasma Dudes, we get a bike from some old guy, have a quick chat with Bianca, and then we are set free into Nimbasa to do some regular chores. So first things first, of course, we are going to buy that TM for return, and then I'm also going to top off on some Hyper Potions. They are now available now that we have 3 gym badges, so we're going to withdraw our team so we can have all of our HM friends with us, and that allows us to go out to Route 16 and do a little bit of training there, grab a rare candy, do a little bit of Pokemon dress up with Bianca, and then it's going to mean that we have to turn right back around and go back out to the desert resort to pick up what I forgot. We enter into the desert resort, so there is quite a few good trainers here for experience. The backpacker with the Tranquil, the psychic with the Sigilyph, the backpacker with the Maractus are all pretty solid. We can grab a rare candy in here, battle some of the rangers for some Rossberries, which are pretty nice, and we can also grab that TM for Rock Tomb that we're going to need very soon. So heal up on the doctor on the way out, and we can't keep waiting any longer. Let's go have our day at the Ferris wheel. And is no issue whatsoever. We got Home Claws, we can set that up, and then of course we have Stab Return now. So Stab Return is absolutely insane. We're not even at max power, and it is easily knocking out all these Pokemon at +1. So Sigilyph drops, that's his probably best Pokemon, and it gives us good experience, so I will take it. And there we go, we can head into the gym. So the trainers in here are not really that bad. Do have to worry about some static from the Emolgas, but overall nothing too terrible. And then we can face off with Elisa. So just like Volibee, we are going to be abusing Rock Tomb. However, unlike Volibee, we have quite a bit of power in our little talons right here. Rock Tomb, of course, is going to be boosted by Sheer Force. It does look like it is a roll to get the knockout, which is pretty unfortunate, which means that we take a lot of damage, and then Zebstrika is going to knock us out for our first reset. So I definitely think that I kind of undertrained here. I should have probably even popped some rare candies because, you know, with our jolly nature, we are actually very close to outspeeding these Emolgas, and if I was at least over level 33, we would be able to knock out these Emolgas, so pretty consistently. So Zebstrika does just barely hang on. We get to level 33. It looks pretty bad, but then we actually outspeed. I think that was actually a speed tie, so that's pretty cool. But hey, we lucked through, so definitely could have been improved there a little bit. Probably saved a reset, but hey, we got the dub, and that's what's important. So let's go ahead, get on out of here, meet up with Sharon on Route 5, clear him out, beat up a couple toddlers, and then we can head into Driftveil City. In Driftveil, of course, we stopped by the cold storage, grabbed the PP up out of the trash can, the ether and the protein and the grass over here, head inside. No problems with the plasma dudes, and we're going to go straight to the gym. Skip the expert belt. We don't really need that today, so that's pretty cool. Of course, none of the gym trainers going to be any problem whatsoever, and we can face off with Clay. Once again, we're going to be using Krokorok Swagger against it with that Personberry. We're going to Home Claws once, get immediately smacked by a Swagger, and there we go. That's pretty much GG right there. So Excadrill comes out. That's going to drop to a single +3 Rock Smash, so that's pretty cool. And then Return is going to easily wipe out that Palpitoad for our 5th gym badge. So very nice. This is just a nice example of, you know, that change to the rule, allowing me to use Personberries to make some of these fights a little bit more consistently. Previously, since this Pokemon doesn't learn Thief, I would not have had access to that option. So we're going to go stop by the Pokemon Center, grab some Max Repels, and top off on some Hyper Potions before we head out of town. Take care of Bianca. Thankfully, no issues from her here, and we can head towards Chargestone Cave. I am happy to report that the Chargestone Gauntlet right here is no problem whatsoever. We don't have to worry about the Demon Watchogs because we outspeed and one-shot them. Let's go! So we're going to go downstairs, grab a rare candy down here, and do a little bit of extra training. Meet up with N on our way out of the cave right here. He's no problems. We do take quite a bit of damage, but it's pretty doable, and we can head into Mistralton City. before we head into the tower, we're going to use that movement that we showed off earlier to grab a PP up over here and then head into the tower. On our way up, we're going to grab the Shadow Claw TM. This is going to be very useful for much later. Heal up at the Fat Fish Nurse and meet up with Skyla at the top. We're going to ring that bell and send Skyla back to her gym, and that gives me the opportunity to also say, hey, thank you guys so much for stopping by and watching this video. If you haven't already, maybe consider subscribing. I do these solo challenges in Pokemon Black and White at least once a week. We're doubling up a little bit this week because I missed a week a few weeks ago, and you know, I wanted to just catch up a little bit and not fall behind on these runs that I'm doing. But yeah, I do stream on occasion as well. I'm currently doing like a series where I'm hardcore nuzlocking my way through every region, so that's kind of cool. I have a Discord as well. You can keep up to date with all of my solo runs, progress on my ROM hack. I do stream into my Discord every now and then, some of these solo challenges, so feel free to stop on by there. So that's pretty cool. So yeah, we're gonna clear out the rest of these trainers, no problems. Funny internet number going up makes me feel good, and let's face off with Skyla. Alright, let's go, Skyla. So she leads off with the Swoobat. It's pretty fast, but not fast enough. So 1+1 return is going to knock that out. Same thing with the Unpheasant. Swanna comes out. Do you even get a chance? No, you don't. Return. Stab return, I'm telling you guys, is absolutely insane. There we go. 6 gym badges. We're just over an hour into this run, making pretty solid progress. So let's go ahead, meet up with Sharon at the foot of Twiz Mountain. Sharon, once again, is, of course, completely free. We're going to set up Hone Claws. We do take quite a bit of damage thanks to a critical hit Air Slash, but that should be fine. We have the speed and the power to one-shot everything on his team, so that's pretty cool. So one more for the live part after it wastes our time with Fake Out, and there we go. You'll love to see it. Let's check out Alder's wonderful bionic legs, get the HM for Surf, and head into Twiz Mountain. So nothing too crazy happens in here. We do get to battle a couple of extra trainers, like this Battle Girl right here with the throw for good experience. There's also a new worker that I'm kind of incorporating. He's right here in like kind of the second little cave area. He pops out of a dust cloud, and he has a Swoobat, so that's pretty decent experience. We are going to battle the Excadrill worker, blocking the PP up, heal up at the Doctor, and pop out on the other side at Icarus City. Say it with me, folks. Bryson is an absolute joke. None of his gym trainers give us any problem, and neither is he. We have Home Claws as with that Yachi Berry equipped. That means that he is never going to be attacking us with a Ice-type move on his lead. So we get set up plenty enough Home Claws and then just go to town and wipe out his entire team with stab returns for a 7th gym badge. Yeah, the game just hates you, Bryson. I'm sorry, buddy, but you know what? We take those. Unlike Volibee, I do not feel nearly as pressured to go evolve super early with some rare candies, so we can head straight into Dragon Spiral Tower. And you know, it's time for story time. So I have alluded to this story in the past, so I guess I'll go ahead and tell you guys the trailer story. So I have said before, I used to work on the road as an electrician. My job, I was effectively the second in command of the entire field, and that just meant more work for myself, because I was still responsible for, you know, doing the work and running jobs and stuff like that on top of checking on everybody else. But it was still a pretty solid job. But so I had this one job up in Virginia. I forget exactly the city. It doesn't really matter, but it was kind of out near the coast. And it was a food line. I was doing a remodel in food line. You know, we changed out a bunch of cases, changed out some lights, demoed some things, install a bunch of new equipment, yada yada yada. Pretty simple, basic remodel kind of stuff. So for this company that I work for, this was the second electrical company that I worked for. by the way. So yeah, they have big old job trailers, big old giant trailers that we store all of our equipment and all of our material in and stuff like that. So that's pretty nice. I can't pull these things because I don't have like a big old truck. They are pretty massive trailers. So I was not responsible for, delivering the trailer or picking it up. That was on, on somebody else. Either my big boss or Kenny. So we've talked about Kenny before. And he makes a star appearance in this story as well. So anyway, I finished up the job. We did good. We did wraps, passed all our inspections, all that fun stuff. Awesome. I don't really have to come back here. Like I said, I'm not responsible for removing the job trailer because I literally can't. My truck can't pull it. So we kind of just park the job trailer out to the side, put, the tongue lock on it, lock it up, all that fun stuff. Well, it turns out that it kind of just sat there for a while, and eventually they're like, hey, can you go drive up to that store and help Kenny grab the job trailer? Sure, no problem. So we get up there, and I drive to the edge of the parking lot where it should be, and our trailer's completely missing. Now, I know for an absolute fact I locked this thing up, really good. So I locked the wheels, I locked the tongue, I locked everything. So turns out somebody had just broken all of our locks and stolen it. So yeah, they stole the whole ass trailer. Thankfully we did have GPS tracking on it, and so we were able to track down where the trailer went. Well, apparently it went across the bridge over to Maryland, and Kenny was flipping out. And so yeah, that was just that was a day. So I have ADHD, if you couldn't tell. So and it is very true that people with ADHD, they're very calm in kind of a crisis moment. This was a pretty crisis moment, but so I was pretty calm, and it was more relaxed, and it was so funny, because I'm very relaxed, I'm very chill, so I'm not freaking out or anything like Kenny is over here. So when the cops come, the lady cop is looking at me all funny because I'm so calm, and I'm just like, what do you want me to do, man? I'm like, yeah, it's not, what can I do? Like, do you want me to be freaking out? Like what? Why? So, I don't know. I just thought that was really funny. But, so me and Kenny hop in his truck. We drive across the bridge. Of course, we got the cops involved and everything. But he needs to go to where this is. So we got the address and everything from the GPS from our boss. And, so we drive all the way to Maryland. And it's just in some dude's backyard, just sitting there. And it took everything I had to freaking stop Kenny from being a dumbass and jumping out and going and freaking beating down these people's door to freak them out. I was like, dude, are you kidding me? We live in the South, man. I mean, I know Maryland's not really the South, but, it might as well be. Who cares? It's like, dude, you don't know what guns and shit these people have, man. Like, calm down. So yeah, we got the cops over there and said, hey, that is definitely our trailer. Here's all our information. So we get there and the trailer's just completely wiped out. There's nothing in it, of course. So that was fantastic. So yeah, that was the trailer story. That was a fun day with Kenny, for sure. So, yeah, he was just freaking out. He wanted to go in there and freaking bust down the place like John Wick, and it was just, oh boy. Honestly, it would have been hilarious, and I would have backed my boy up, but, we don't need to do any of that. We don't need to do that nonsense. So, yeah. So overall, though, it definitely sucks, man. It was like, dude, just don't take people's stuff. On the other hand, though, it was kind of on management's fault to not go freaking get that trailer as soon as the job was over. So anyway, though, that's pretty much wraps for the story, and it is going to be time for us to spend 5 rare candies so we can finally get to level 54 and evolve up into our Braviary. Look at that, I timed it just right. Totally intentional, of course. But yeah, so Braviary here at level 54, that's going to be fantastic. We're going to slap on that sharp beak that we picked up earlier in Mistralton. I forgot to mention that, but that's okay. And then we can finish out the last trainer here, meet up with G.E.Z on the bottom floor, stop by Nacrian City, get a funny looking rock, as well as revive that fossil we grabbed on our way in. This gives us a great strength user, as well as filling that last party slot that we need. So grab the extra rare candy in Pinwheel Forest, as well as the one not over at Route 2. Sorry, my bad. Thinking of something different. And then we can finally head back to Icarus City. Before we battle Bianca over here on Route 8, I'm going to take a quick pit stop and battle this ranger right here. He gives pretty decent experience with this Chinchino, but also she's going to give me a Pecha Berry afterwards, and that's going to come in handy. So let's go ahead, face off with Bianca one last time. Alright, let's go, Bianca. So she leads off with Stoutland. It does have Intimidate. That's pretty annoying, but that's okay. We got Home Claws. We can boost up a couple of times, and then Stab Return once again goes to town on everything. No worries. Simipour drops. Superior comes out. That drops. And last but not least is going to be that Sharna, and that's going to go down as well. So very, very nice. So head into Opelucid City. The gym trainers are going to be no issues whatsoever, and then we can quickly face off with our final gym leader. Alright, Ira's final gym leader. She leads off with a fracture. It's not going to really do anything other than dance, so we get a free Home Claws off, and we're still faster even at +1, so that's pretty sweet. And there we go, return all the way down. So her Dredigan doesn't have rough skin, so that's pretty nice for us. We don't have to worry about that. And Haxorus drops as well for our 8th gym badge. There we go. Let's go. We can get on out of here, head out towards Route 10, do a little bit of extra training on the Ace Trainer and the Veteran before we face off with Sharon one last time. Alright, let's go, Sharon. So he leads off with Unpheasant. It is going to just let us set up a Home Claws for free as it detects. And there we go. You only have a couple of returns left, but that is more than enough to get through his 4 Pokemon. Liepard goes down, and last but not least, of course, is going to be that Simisear. Let's go. So yeah, we get a nice free heal, and then we can move on into Victory Road. So do a bunch of extra training right here, grab the candy right across the puddle, and then we're going to pop out at the league almost at level 60. Alright, Marshall's up first. Of course, we are a flying type. We do have the advantage right here. Wing attack does not actually knock out Throw, which is very surprising. However, we knock it out on the following turn. So Sock comes out. It does have Sturdy, guarantees lives, and it crits us with a Stone Edge, which is really unfortunate. And I did not save in front of Marshall because I didn't think it was going to be a problem. But yeah, that's just what happens when you get a little bit unlucky. So we have to take a pretty slow blackout right here. So let's go ahead and get back into it with the second attempt. Alright, take 2, throw, lead. We send out our Braviary. We're going to wing attack. That's going to drop, get to level 60. We get to roll that time. Sock comes out, of course, is going to live with Sturdy. Does crit me once again with Stone Edge. Good lord, man. Come on. Give me a break. But that should be fine. We outspeed everything on his team, and all he can do is waste our time a little bit with some full restores. So, Conkeldurr, Sharp Beak boosted. Wing attack, that's going to drop. And same thing with the Mian Shao right there. There we go. First member down, only 1 reset. A little unfortunate, but not too bad. Alright, Caitlin, let's do this. So, yeah, she's pretty free for the most part. She does have Thunder, doesn't paralyze us, which is very nice. And there we go. We can go to town +1 returns on everything. We outspeed her entire team. Gothitelle just sees our item with Frisk, no worries, and all that's left is that Musharna. One more return, drops, easy peasy, moving on. Alright, so Grimsley is up next here. We're going to set up a Hone Claws. We don't have to worry about Sand Attack with that, and with that, we have all we need to go and win this fight. So, Krookodile does drop our attack with Intimidate, but that's okay. That's all why we set up the Hone Claws. Bisharp, we have Rock Smash still for you. 4 times effective, and there we go. Only 1 member left. Alright, last but not least, Chantal. We have equipped a Rossberry to prevent burn, and we've taught Shadow Claw. So with that, we actually dodge the Will-O-Wisp on turn 1, which is very nice, which means even if the Chandelure flame bodies us, no worries. Thankfully, it doesn't even do that. So, Shadow Claw on the Jellicent, we dodged the Curse Body as well there, and all that's left is the Golurk, and that goes down. Let's go. All four Elite Four members down. Let's go downstairs and see how Alder is dealing with N. N summons his gigantic castle out of the ground somehow, and it's up to us to make it through because Alder couldn't hack it. Come on, bro. All you need is a good old Murica Bird. So, yeah, on our way through, we do grab the rare candy in N's room, and then we can meet the man himself in the throne room. After the dragons flex their stuff, we're going to go into our bag and spend our last 3 rare candies, get to level 63, learn Brave Bird. This is an insanely powerful flying type move, 120 base power, but it does have a recoil, so with those candies, we can save up at level 65, catch our dragon, and face off with N. Alright, let's go N. So he leads off with Reshiram, and because we have a full party, we can deny adding the Zekrom to it and face off. So Hone Claws into return is going to knock out the Reshiram. Vanillux is going to come out next, and that's going to drop. Caracosta, it has Sturdy, it will always live, and it does connect with the Stone Edge to knock us out. So instead of wasting my time recatching the dragon over and over again, we're actually going to take the Blackout here, because if you come back here, you don't have to go through the whole process of recatching the dragon and stuff like that. It's very possible that I'm going to be here for quite a while resetting. I might have to rely on a Stone Edge dodge, but we'll see. Like I said, Rock-type Pokemon are not very friendly to this in-game, and this Caracosta right here is one of the big reasons why. So, it does take a couple of tries, but eventually we get a nice winning attempt. Alright, here we go. So, Reshiram v. Braviary, the power of America is on our side. So, Hone Claws, we get crit by a Fusion Flare. Love to see it. So we have to dodge a Stone Edge now. So return, of course, going to drop that Vanillux. Once again, Caracosta comes out, return, and we do dodge that Stone Edge. Let's go. Archeops comes out. We are going to go for Brave Bird. It is our strongest move despite the resistance, and that drops. So Clang, we got Rock Smash still just for you, so that's going to go down, and all that's left is Zoroark for 1 more return. Let's go, easy peasy. So yeah, that's just kind of like par for the course for this end game right here. That Caracosta is like just a big problem for a lot of rock weak Pokemon, and not even Braviary could stop that. So Getsis is going to throw his little tantrum, and it's going to be up to us to take him down. Alright, let's go, Getsis. So, this is why we got the Pecha Berry. His Cofagrigus is a massive troll. It likes to go for Toxic and Protect, but it doesn't even try this time. So, 1+1 Brave Bird is going to knock that out. Rock Smash onto the Bisharp. That's going to go down. And then pretty much everything else is going to drop to the boosted return. So, Electros, no worries. Hydreigon, we're faster than you. That's going to drop as well. And then get to level 67. Last but not least is that Seismitoad, and there we go. we have completed the game. So just a little bit of extra dialogue. We do end our timer at the end of N's final dialogue when the credits start, so that's pretty sweet. So yeah, overall, this was a fantastic run. I think Braviary did really well. It did struggle a little bit in some points, especially, around Elisa and stuff like that, but I definitely think that that could be improved upon, but we're not going to be doing that today. So yeah, we see one last look and get our final time of 1 hour, 44 minutes, and 10 seconds with 5 blackouts and 13 resets. So yeah, we're gonna go ahead, wrap up these credits, and then I got a little bit of a surprise for you guys. First up, we do see that final in-game time of 4 hours and 53 minutes, not too shabby. So like I said, Braviary did really well here. So it is held back a little bit by that late evolution, but overall, I really enjoyed this run, and I felt so good about this, I wanted to throw something together as a nice little special surprise for you. And if you know, Braviary does have an alternate form. Welcome in Hisuian Braviary. That's right, we are going to be doing my first little mini backport where I'm going to be backporting in Hisuian Braviary. So we're going to be still starting off as a rufflet, nothing too crazy. And all of the rufflet section is going to be about the same. We'll touch on some things here in a little bit, but what does Hisuian Braviary bring to the table? So it actually has more HP at 110, but it's also a special attacker. 112 base special attack. It still has a okay physical attack at 83, but it's definitely a more dedicated special attacker. However, it also has much less speed, only 65 base speed, and of course the biggest change, it is now a psychic and flying type as opposed to a normal flying type. So very big difference right there. So it does have a signature move, Esper Wing. This is an 80 base power psychic type special move that boosts speed whenever you use it. But, of course, we're using Sheer Force still, so that means that that is going to be Sheer Force boosted, which is very cool. So, it does get Hurricane as well much later on, which we'll touch on when we get there. So, I've basically made this moveset, pretty much just to be a mirror of the normal Gen 5 Braviary moveset. The one that you see on the screen right now is, Gen 9's moveset where this Hisuian Braviary is actually available. But yeah, just if you're curious, I've basically slotted in some moves from Hisuian Braviary into normal Braviary's moveset. So that's all good. So anyway, let's go ahead and get into it. What has changed? Well, pretty much the first change is we are running a naive nature this time around on our rufflet. This is going to be still boosting our speed, but at the cost of lowering our special defense. So we are going to be definitely pivoting into more of a special attacker role once we get up to Hisuian Braviary, so I don't really want to lower that. So we do get a little bit luckier on Lenora, just getting one less reset, which is pretty sweet. We do remember to go into the desert before Nimbasa as opposed to after, so nothing really changes too much there, though we still do all the training and grab all the items there and stuff like that too. So we do grab strength this time around, and we're actually going to spend 2 rare candies right before Lisa so I can get those outspeeds on the Emolga. So some of those little minor optimizations I talked about actually coming in clutch there. And with that, the Elisa fight is actually completely free because we can set up Hone Claws, we're outspeeding the Emolgas, and we can hit them with now accurate Rock Tombs to knock them out. Don't even have to worry about paralysis, and then 1 return is going to knock out the Zebstrika, so that's pretty cool. Once we get to level 41, we are going to be learning Air Slash over Wing Attack, where we didn't previously before, and then we are also going to be picking up the Shadow Ball TM in the desert because Hisuian Braviary will learn that. So one other minor difference before we really get into it, we are going to grab the Route 2 candy and then battle Bianca as Rufflet before we head into Route 9, where the big changes actually start. Of course, as a special attacker, we are going to stop by the shopping mall and grab a bunch of calciums to fill in that. So I'm going to grab us 6 calciums. That's going to top us off, and then we're going to spend all of those as well as all of our rare candies. And then we're going to evolve up at level 54 into Hisuian Braviary. So let's go. Let's finally see it. There it is. So I did not make this sprite. This sprite is fully complete credit to G.E.Z and Kingofthe-X-Roads. They made it for basically Pokemon Showdown, and that's what I took it. So I did have to do a little bit of editing to make it work with the Gen 5 palettes, but overall, full credit to them for this. So I'm going to go ahead and teach Shadow Ball, give that Sharp Beak, and then we could plow through the Dragon-type gym and face off with Iris. Alright, let's do this, Iris, in the first taste of the back sprite. Yeah, this looked great, man. So, the way that Pokemon motion works in this game, though, is a little bit different than you'd expect. You have a bunch of very small pieces, and you have to make, like, a custom rig and stuff like that. So, with these backports, we're actually going to have pretty much just static sprites. So, if you ask me in my Discord, I'll do, like, a more in-depth breakdown, but that's pretty much the long and short of it. So yeah, but it's still really cool to have these, you know, backported Pokemon into the game, which is awesome. So yeah, anyway, we're going to get on here, beat up a couple extra trainers just like we did before, and face off with Sharon on the bridge. Alright, let's go. So Hisuian Braviary, it has Sheer Force boosted stab psychic move right now, and that's just going to go to town. Air Slash for the Liepard, of course, but everything else is just going to drop except for the Samurott, just barely hanging on, but it doesn't do too much damage. So Simisear drops as well, and there we go. So yeah, definitely Hisuian Braviary so far taking a much bigger advantage of Sheer Force over regular Braviary. Pretty much we only had Rock Smash for that, but all of our moves right now are getting boosted by Sheer Force, so that's cool. So we're going to do a bunch of extra training. Of course, grab the puddle candy in Victory Road, and then we're going to pop out at the league just about where we were at level 59 again. Alright, Marshall is up first, and we do actually outspeed everything, so we have a little bit more power behind that Esper Wing. Of course, the Sock is always going to live with Sturdy. Nothing we can do about that. We can't even flinch with Air Slash thanks to Sheer Force, but that's okay. It just does a good bit of damage with Stone Edge, and we knock it out. Same thing with the Conkeldurr. Mian Shao goes down as well, and no problems there. We can move on. Before we face off with Caitlyn, though, we are going to be teaching Workup. We actually don't need Esper Wing anymore. Shadow Ball and Flying Stab should be all that we need. So we're going to restore that PP and edit our move set a little bit to you know, be in the right order. But overall, yeah, it's very cool to have a signature move, but you don't need it all the time. So let's save up just in case and face off with our next member. Alright, Caitlyn, yeah, it's going to be pretty easy. So she leads off with Reuniclus. We get one workup off and dodge a Thunder, and then we can just go straight to town with Shadow Ball. So Sigilif is going to drop as well. Same thing with Gothitelle, that's going to go down, and Musharna, it's pretty bulky, but not bulky enough, and then we can move on. Alright, let's do this, Chantal. You are up next. So we are weak to Ghost now. We do take quite a bit from a Shadow Ball, but that +1 with Workup is all that we need. So Jellicent, we dodge the Curse Body. That's very nice. Shadow Ball for the Chandelure as well. And then Golurk is all that's left. Very nice, easy peasy, and only down to one member left. Before we face off with Grimsley, we're going to use 2 of our rare candies, get to level 63, and learn Hurricane over Air Slash. So this is a very powerful move, 120 base power, and it has a chance to confuse, so it's boosted by Sheer Force, but only 70% accuracy does make it pretty inconsistent. However, if you notice, we did hold on to Home Claws, and as we get into the battle with Grimsley, we are going to do that to boost that accuracy of Hurricane. So with all the modifiers that we have on right now with Stab, Sheer Force, and the held Sharp Beak, this is an effective 280 base power. So, yeah, no problems even with that resistance on the Bisharp. Yeah, that's just absolutely absurd power. So, let's go ahead, head downstairs, and see how Alder is dealing with N. Once again, N summons the gigantic castle out of the ground, and it's going to be up to us to take him down. So, come on, Alder, all you gotta do is jump through time and space, get a ancient Braviary, and then you can crush everything. Come on, man. So, we're actually going to skip the rare candy in N's room this time and just go straight to the throne room. Alright, let's do this, N. So we do have higher defensives, but we're also running that naive nature, meaning that we take a ton of damage from that. So we set up a workup and hit a raw Hurricane. Let's go. So Shadow Ball we can pivot to for the rest. Caracasa comes out, Shadow Ball, and we dodge the Stone Edge first try. Let's go. So Shadow Ball to knock that out after it heals up. Archeops comes out, it's pretty frail. Shadow Ball's going to do that. Kling Clang, we can set up a Home Claws now. We don't get paralyzed by the Thunderbolt, and we can easily live and fire off that Hurricane into the Zoroark as well, because why not? And there we go, first try victory against N. Not gonna lie, that was pretty lucky, but you know, sometimes luck happens. So G.E.Z is going to throw his tantrum one more time, and it's going to be up to us to take him down. Alright, let's do this, G.E.Z. So he leads off with Cofagrigus. We got that Pecha Berry once again, and we want to set up our accuracy with Home Claws. So we don't need a special attack boost to knock it out with the Shadow Ball. We can set up a workup on Bisharp, and it actually misses the Stone Edge for us too. That's awesome. So, and now we can go to town with some Hurricanes. So I did think that the Electros would drop to a single boosted Shadow Ball, but not quite. I didn't really want to risk missing a Hurricane. It still does have a chance to miss despite the +1 accuracy, but we're just going to stick to it for the rest of this team, and that goes down. So yeah, not going to lie, some luck, quite a bit of luck on these fights. But overall, though, that's just awesome. So this Pokemon is absolutely insane, which is pretty sweet. So we, of course, once again, do end our final time at the end of N's final dialogue right here. But this was awesome. I did not expect Braviary, Hisuian Braviary, to actually do better than regular Braviary. That is very surprising to me, which is pretty sweet. So we see a final time of 1 hour 36 minutes flat with only 2 blackouts. Those were the only 2 blackouts, and they were from the very beginning of the game with Lenora. Crazy. So this is pretty sweet. So I hope you guys enjoyed this little taste of me backporting Pokemon into the game. I'll definitely be doing a couple more of these in the future, but let's skip ahead to the credits, see this thing's final in-game time, and rank both of these Pokemon. And there you go, final in-game time of 4 hours and 52 minutes, only 1 minute less than regular Braviary, which it means that both of these Pokemon were pretty comparable. It's just Braviary had a little bit more struggle. Now, some of that I did improve upon in this run, but that's just kind of only natural. And we did get a lot more lucky with Hisuian Braviary. I'm not going to deny that at all. But as we bring in the tier list, we see that regular Braviary is going to slot very comfortably into the C tier, and its Hisuian counterpart is actually going to sit into the B tier. Very solid placements for both of these Pokemon. Which is pretty cool. So, did you expect that from Hisuian Braviary? It looks a little bit odd, right? We haven't had, normally normal types dominate, right? Psychic types do have a little bit of struggle, but Hisuian Braviary is just that powerful with like Sheer Force, Hurricane, and stuff like that in the post game. That's or in the late game. That's absolutely absurd how much power is behind that. So that's pretty cool. So anyway, that is going to be it for Braviary. I hope you guys enjoyed this first little mini backport that I did for you. I just thought it was a lot of fun. Yeah, so be sure to come back next week, though, because we are going to be playing the game with a normal Unnovan Psychic type Behem. That one's definitely going to be very fun. So Psychic types have been very hit or miss so far, but they are very interesting nonetheless. So anyway, that is going to be it for me today, though, guys. Thank you guys so much for stopping by and watching and all the support. I hope you have a wonderful 4th of July. Just don't fire off fireworks. They're lame. They're lame and they're annoying. I get that they're fun and they're sparkly and stuff like that, but they just ruin other people's time and they scare animals and stuff like that. I don't know. Maybe I'm just too freaking... Maybe I'm too old. I don't know. Anyway, like, comment, stop, all that fun stuff one last time. Go check out some of the stuff that you see on screen. I love you all. Deuces.